You passed the bar?
Magic flute. I wrote him a demand letter.
You broke into a nursing home?
Assisted living.
Each week we break down another Better Call Saul episode in order, and this week's episode is pretty important. I've got 33 details you might not know in Season 1, Episode 8, RICO. The bleach bypass effect means this is a flashback. The writers say it's 1998, and we find out Jimmy used to work at HHM. I don't know any Andrea Tedesco, but Art Tedesco will have a minor role in a Season 4 episode.
Hey, Gene.
Gene? This actor's name is also Gene.
Thanks, Jimmy.
The 22nd is marked with My Birthday, yay!
Trina.
That's gotta be a nod to Trina Siopi from Props. It won't be the last.
Hey.
Hey yourself.
Hey yourself.
Hey yourself.
Here we see that Kim went to UNM, although that's more clearly shown later.
I can't open it. So what does it say?
Kim's really good at moving her ears. There will be a better example of this in the future. Oh, Kim's not wearing her signature triangular earrings. And they're kissing. That's noteworthy too. Chuck's office is the same set as Howard's office, but they flipped the walls. For both of their offices, the outside is a photo of Los Angeles, and they had to digitally remove some recognizable skyscrapers in post. It's funny to see Chuck recording notes on an old-fashioned cassette tape, but that's probably what lawyers did in 1998.
Is this a joke?
No joke.
You passed the bar?
Yeah, I did. I thought if Kim can do it, maybe I can too. I found a law school that would accept me. I mean, it wasn't Georgetown or anything.
A moment ago, we could see that Chuck went to Georgetown.
The University of American Samoa.
Oh, correspondence school.
He says with a hint of superiority.
Go land crabs.
Okay, it's time to honor this great suggestion and count this as his second Go team. The first one was in 5-0.
Go Eagles.
The University of American Samoa is a made-up institution we learned a bit about in Breaking Bad. My favorite detail is that its location is Rose Atoll, an uninhabited wildlife refuge.
They call it distance learning.
Back then, schools would mail students lessons who would then mail them back.
The bar exam's a mother. Failed it the first 2 times, but I guess it's like losing your virginity. 3rd time's the charm.
Wow. I don't know what to say.
Are you proud of me?
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks. Chuck, that means a lot. I was hoping, if you think it's appropriate, consider hiring me.
As what? Oh, a lawyer.
Jimmy and Chuck, working as a team.
That's a question I'm going to have to take up with Howard and the other partners. It's not my decision alone, but how could they say no?
They threw me a party. The gals baked me a chocolate chip cake like you wouldn't believe.
Remember us when you're all big time, huh?
I don't remember you now, Bert.
Just like with Jack, Nate, and Aaron from Uno, they have a knack for pointing out the unimportant HHM employees. This is kind of random, but the mailroom has characters named Bert and Ernie, like on Sesame Street.
Jesus, Jimmy, you're a regular Charlie Hustle.
That's Pete Rose's nickname, which is a slightly backhanded compliment for 2 reasons. One, because it was originally given to him derisively after needlessly sprinting to first base after a walk. And 2, because he ended up being banned from baseball for life due to gambling, and served time in prison for tax evasion. I do think Howard meant it sincerely, like the badge of honor that Pete Rose considered the name to be.
Hey, I hate to interrupt, but could you guys give Jimmy and me a moment?
This was the longest and most complicated visual effects shot in the history of the Breaking Bad universe. Originally, the camera was visible in the glass reflection, so they removed the glass and digitally added all the reflections of items like the copier. They did write all the dialogue for this scene, and Patrick Fabian performed it, even though they knew you'd never hear it. The creators revealed roughly what he said, shown here.
Let's reassess in 6 months. Thanks for understanding, Jimmy.
This Fanta logo wasn't introduced until 2008.
You want the door open or closed?
Closed.
The door closes on Jimmy's dream and explains the dynamic we've seen between Howard and him. This footage was shot in producer Melissa Bernstein's backyard. They shot it on a phone, but needed to do it up high on a ladder, then zoomed in 2,000% to help it look like crappy 80s video.
How's it going?
Settling back in.
In other words, wasting time unpacking thanks to you.
Great. Come bask in the glow.
Sure, he's her friend now, but she knows that with one unfortunate event, she's back in the cornfield.
We've reached a plea agreement for former Treasurer Craig Kettleman.
And Howard is really the only one who gets to bask.
I'm here to see Mrs. Landry.
Sign in right here, please.
Hey!
This movie, added to the TV in post, is Bell, Book, and Candle, one of the inspirations for Bewitched.
A little surprise from the card fairy.
This guy had some issues pretending to stay asleep, so they had to digitally change him a bit.
Squeeze.
This sign is the first obviously fake 555 number I've ever seen in the Breaking Bad universe. Vince would have never approved this. He once said,
You don't want to do the 555 thing because
No.
everyone knows instantly. It takes you out of the movie, and everyone knows it's
I know.
fake.
and does that say you can contact someone?
All right, Mrs. Landry, just a few more signatures and,
Irene has a painting of
Suffering Saint Sebastian.
who Jimmy referenced in episode 1. I like the idea of Sebastian as a metaphor for Jimmy.
Would you like another high drops?
No, thank you. I'm all hydroxed out.
The props team recreated an authentic 2002 Hydrox package. You may be tempted to laugh at the choice of Hydrox rather than Oreo, but the consensus is that Hydrox is the superior cookie. They just suffer from a terrible name, which is a composite of hydrogen and oxygen meant to convey purity.
It is the purest, most chemically sound product on the market.
That is not the only factor.
$140, and I'm happy to take cash or a check or cash.
He learned his lesson about making an S&H green stamp joke.
I am so sorry. This is awful, but all I have is $43. You could keep the will until I get my allowance.
That's not necessary. Here's my address. Just mail it to me when you've got it. We'll just make it an even 120.
Thank you.
You have a nice day.
Gordon's back, and he was the perfect writer for this legal-heavy episode. His mom and sister are both lawyers and helped with all those details.
Excuse me, allowance? Your pension and Social Security go straight to the Sandpiper people?
It's really all very above board. A lot of places do it this way.
Are any of your friends around who I could talk to? See, you have reading glasses. Can I borrow your glasses?
Putting on the glasses was Bob's idea.
I think it might be Q-tips. I can't tell. It could be a mistake. Did you do my wills?
Yes, I did.
Hey.
Don't think I don't see what you were doing here. You wanted to play Tom Sawyer. Wanted me to paint the fence. God help me, it worked.
Yes, it did, but for a more selfless motivation than you assume.
You need help? Hire a paralegal. Stand on your own 2 feet.
Do you see what I see?
$14 for code 118-62. What's 118-62? How could you even read this?
It's a clear pattern of overcharging.
This was in work I did?
Yeah, you must have missed it.
Ouch. Although I don't know that it's reasonable for Chuck to notice this while doing their wills.
I got lucky, right? Even a stop clock is right twice a day. What do I do now? I mean, what next?
Well, you're gonna need more information. You don't want to go off half-cocked.
Full cock.
No more half-cocks, Jimmy.
This sign is a very obvious visual effect. They did have a real sign, but it got rained on overnight and warped as a result.
Back to see Mrs. Landry.
Sorry, sir. New policy. We're concerned about solicitation on the premises.
I have clients in there now. They have a legal right to meet with me.
You'll just have to arrange to meet them elsewhere.
Oh, come on, guys. Seriously? What are you making Soylent Green back there?
That's a reference to the 70s dystopian thriller that takes place in the far future, the year 2022.
This has got me a little bit stirred up down there. Can I use your restroom?
Go ahead.
This top page has notes from the Kettleman case, and it looks like Jimmy was considering an incompetence defense. I'd assumed Craig, but here it says police incompetence. This page discusses elder law clients, and this page has a list of chores like picking up dry cleaning and buying more legal pads. Jimmy writes just like Detective Abbasi from 5-0. That's because Jason DeLapp from Props wrote both of these.
Sandpiper Crossing. Clients of James M. McGill.
Come on now, sir. I've been very patient.
Contact by the end of the week, or I will be forced to.
I need you to
This
finish
is a
up.
demand letter. You're shredding in there. Stop right now. Spoliation. That's what it's called, and it's a felony.
Jimmy might be wrong about this, or just bluffing.
So call your lawyers right now. Tell them I said that. James McGill, Esquire. Big mistake.
Hey.
Am I calling at a bad time?
No, not at all. It's good to hear from you.
Mike finally gets his answer to the question,
Can you live with it?
so he doesn't need to replace Stacey with a robot after all.
Do you think you could watch Kaylee? My regular sitter's down.
That feels like another non-American expression to me.
Anything you need.
Mike is so invested in this conversation that he doesn't even care about this car paying for parking. They very carefully don't pan any further to the left. Unlike the light in the garage scenes, the director wanted to make sure the light source here was motivated, so he had them put up this street light. Behind the wall, there are sandbags holding it up.
Jesus.
If it were me, I'd probably take my shirt and tie off before making the plunge. For these exterior shots, it's not Bob in there, it's Matt Feet from Props. Longtime viewers of this channel know him as a photographer, deputy, student, preppy shopper, roofing hammer attack victim, homicide suspect, and one of the best laser pointer holders west of the Mississippi. What made the lid go up and down like that?
Where is it? Oh, God damn it.
They don't pay any of us enough for this.
James McGill.
Mr. McGill, Rich Schweikert of Schweikert and Coakley.
We're the law firm representing Sandpiper Crossing Assisted Living.
Dennis Boutsikaris, who plays Rich, previously appeared with Bob on the Jackie Thomas Show.
Is that constitutional?
No. You got a problem with that, hippie?
Did I catch you at a bad time?
No, it's fine.
It's just that you're whispering.
I'm at the opera.
Oh, what opera?
Magic flute.
Mozart.
Maybe you should walk me through what you're alleging here.
It's all in the letter.
It's a bit hard to read.
Next time I'd use double ply. Are you related to Charles McGill?
He's my brother.
The only reason that I made this phone call was out of respect for Charles. My partner suggested that the best response would be to send a Rule 11 letter and have you sanctioned.
Well, now Mr. Coakley is wrong or bluffing because Rule 11 sanctions only apply for documents filed in court.
This is a shakedown, and we both know it. Sorry for interrupting your evening. Enjoy the magic flute.
Blow my magic flute.
He fell for real there and hurt his hand. The original plan was for Jimmy to do this at the nail salon, and then disaster would strike when the door opens and blows the shreds everywhere. But they decided they didn't need to add any more wrinkles to the story.
Jimmy, what are you doing here?
What have you done to my dining room?
They were spoliating. I wrote him a demand letter.
You broke into a nursing home?
Assisted living.
And you stole their garbage.
There was no lock, no nothing. You can't say it's private if a hobo can use it as a wigwam.
That's pretty colorful, but I guess not a reference.
That's the standard, right?
More or less, yes.
I just need to figure out what they're trying to cover up.
Well, at least it's not cross-cut.
I'll say, and probably a little unrealistic.
I'll be out of your hair as soon as I can.
Stop. It's okay. You can work here. I don't mind the company. You look like you could use a cup of coffee.
Good God, yes.
It's nice to see this brotherly love. It was clear from the flashback that Jimmy's desperate for Chuck's approval, and he finally gets it here. That takes a lot of confidence in your spacing to tape those second and third sections like that.
Oh, good. You're up.
Well, Jesus, Chuck, how long have I been asleep? I can't believe this.
It gets better.
Morrissey Medical Supply, Lincoln, Nebraska. So?
Trust me. We need to start pulling case law. 18 U.S.C. 1961 to 68, 3047-1, NMSA 1978. It's a good opening salvo for us.
Us? We're working together on this?
That's up to you, Jimmy.
Aw.
Jimmy and Chuck, working as a team. Their powers combined, it's every client's dream.
Vince believes that Jimmy and Chuck combined make a perfect lawyer, thanks to Jimmy's street smarts and ability to relate to people, and Chuck's book smarts.
Hey, gorgeous.
Oh, man. Sweet talking right out of the gate.
Will you look something up for me on Westlaw?
Anything on Sedema v. Emrex, Schlesinger v. Disney, Holmes v. SIPC.
Oh, slow down.
5712, 1 through 24, NMSA 1978.
Jimmy, that's going to be thousands of pages. And who do I bill it to?
Bill it to Howard.
I still remember his code, 1933, same year Hitler came to power.
I'm not billing it to my boss.
Hold on a second.
Use mine, 1868.
Ah, the year the 14th Amendment was ratified, or 653 after Magna Carta.
Does Chuck know you're using Chuck's number?
We're working on something together.
Maybe a class action, even. We think it'll settle
For 1, maybe 2 million.
Chuck's a partner at HHM.
He can work with outside parties.
Pro bono cases.
So I'm Bono. I'm very Bono. Chuck's a rock star, okay? They'll work it out.
And Chuck can handle this?
This is good for him.
Whatever. I'll see you in a couple hours.
And you know, if you don't separate those, you're going to end up with Brown. We're in here.
This house with its depressing backyard belonged to the fiancé of Peter Gould's assistant Joey in real life.
I want to know what I should do with this. Can I spend this?
If this money helps you and Kaylee, then you spend every penny.
It's a relief. Of course, it's only a drop in the bucket.
The computer in the engine? It locked in the middle of the Rockies.
Rich's rant is based on a true story from one of writer Gordon's co-workers, and I suspect it's Vince.
No, it's the chip. It's the little...
This fax machine is a brother in Telefax 2840, released a decade after Rich received this fax.
Hey, Mo, can I call you back?
Thanks for coming. Oh, please leave electronics in the car.
I heard about this. Go ahead, it's fine.
Come on, buddy.
I don't know if I can do this.
You can do this. Those guys, they're nothing. They're the Pistons, and you're the Bulls.
This was an intense NBA rivalry in the late 80s during Michael Jordan's prime.
Let's go. Let's go get him.
Do you remember me, Charles? We were on a co-defense. Church's Donuts v. Amendola.
He probably doesn't remember because that's the one made-up case mentioned in this episode.
You quoted... What was it?
Do you think Rich is testing him here?
Addiston Pipe and Steel. It was amazing. I figured you'd be arguing in front of the Supreme Court someday.
Well, that's good to see you.
We've read your revised demand. It's quite a laundry list, very creative.
Like the way your clients have been billing my clients, because that's like Salvador Dali creative.
That's cute.
And colorful.
All their facilities. All 12 of them. Every single one, 5-star rated.
His attempt to intimidate with the size of the company is about to backfire.
We looked into it. Some of your clients have been overbilled. It's an accounting error.
I know it's wrong from an accounting standpoint.
Let's call it $100,000 even. We admit to no wrongdoing, and your clients release all claims.
I think you're gonna need to do better than that.
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Go Cornhuskers. Nebraska, although they both begin with the letter N, actually turns out to be a different state than New Mexico.
This reminds me of one of the most Jimmy-like scenes in Breaking Bad.
How about it, counselor? Do you concur? Are you trying to make this a RICO case?
That refers to the Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, introduced primarily to deal with organized crime, but applied much more broadly as in cases like this. It's mentioned 3 times in Breaking Bad.
Feds will come and RICO her and the kids out on the street. Ooh.
The feds RICO'd their hazard pay.
They will RICO your wife and kids. Sedema establishes a pretty low threshold for RICO provisions to kick in. You're looking at treble damages, so your $100,000, I think you know where you can stick it.
Treble damages is the correct term for this, but it basically means triple damages.
What number exactly did you have in mind?
20 million.
Excuse me?
You heard me.
Oh, you can't expect...
$20 million, or we'll see you in court.
Jordan driving on Lambeer and dunking. Wow.
20 million?
Didn't you hear them? 12 separate facilities. A multi-state federal class action lawsuit with a RICO kicker at the penalty phase. 20 million. That's conservative. We need to get you back on the grounds. Some injunctive relief. Maybe a TRO. Jimmy, do you want to get started on the TRO?
Yeah, yes.
Where'd you get her?
Shelter.
Good. Anything else I can do for you?
You still in touch with your people?
Depends on the type of work you're looking for.
Well, you tell me what you got. I'll tell you what I'll do.
Mike's got a family to support now, and this is how he gets involved with the criminal underworld.
I signed up 3 more clients at the mall today.
Did you get what I asked?
It's in the car. Just give me a minute. I'll go. Where's... Chuck?
Wow, here's a perfect example of Chuck being so preoccupied that his symptoms don't register.
Chuck?
Yeah.
Which I believe is what happened when he wanted coffee in Alpine Shepherd Boy. Vince compared this to when Wile E. Coyote is about to float until the Roadrunner makes him realize he's floating. Congratulations and thanks to Daniel C., Chemo, Irate Axolotl, Austin Nathan, Purple Fury 3412, and Augustine Favara, who are now 1-year members. We've reached 2 huge milestones. First, breaking news. Thanks so much to all of you for helping this channel reach 100,000 subscribers. Second, we've reached the point where 6-month members need to scroll. Congratulations and thanks to the new 6-month members. Luigi Superfan, Manny, Avery S., Tacton, Nils1, Josh is Yo Mama, Port SDG, Script, Red Sphinx 113, Corn Snack, Doggus, Captain Monkey 52, Zen Brewski, Mr. Labayo, Dripples, Pokepug, Dushiaya, Nywarin, Sean Younce, Thunderhammer, Zach, Shotzi, Max Dagger, Meg Bravo, Skelly, Bob Mojo, Star Arboreus, Alari, Crumcho, Servant, Eric the Story Guy, Buong, Boy in a Full Shell, JS, Totally Pants, Backslash, Gato Tonto, Engulfer and Golferson, Macro Bunker, Jimmy Mullen, Landon Rakestraw, Frozen Mug, Jacob Hanna, Calidus Penguino, Dilltube, Amelia, Damian Dotson, Mr. Cookies, Cribstek, Gamiwami, Dromnil, Nicholas VIP 121, Link D, Doc Banks, Tillicum, Pasta Bloke, Idiotech, Gabriel Martins, Nicholas, Ibrahim Conver, and 6 Dogs. Now say hi to the new members: Ryan Young, Trip Boy, MC Swagmaster, Andrew Brown, A Buzz03, 158 Podcast, Dapper Husky, Troy Davis, Nico BR, Streetman Proper, Tristan Ventura, Classy, Perry, SS Melody, Dante X, Joey Guevara, Will Polford, Midnight Toker, Daggerfall, WatchTex PL, Millie7119, Dole Goldori, Poster Sogala, Gilid Hudson Selnicker, Jaden, Antarctica Soul, Apps, Jonathan Lawrence, Pecky1701, Kofi, Henry Jaramillo, Ramiz Unal, Daniel Therion, John McDonald, Rack, Matthias German Acosta, Pitchnipjuk, Bravo, Brew SP, Cheever Beaver, Highball, Toot, Jack Rennie, The Dabbler, Gordo, Swidius, Bay Execute, IAS17, Moofin, Scuridian, Starling Song, Maxim Mayer, Leo, Jolene, Zerg Rochetti, Mantis Toboggan, Ricardo Sensi Fabri, DeHerto, Lantier, Gaming Dragon R, Crazy Gopher, Mr. McPillow YT, Caden YB, Busro Dunn, Admiral Jacrispy, Joey T Does Things, Jonicus326, Litzy, Arctic Fleshvods, Analaps, Dumdor, and Inga Sletinolvun. Finally, here's a new attempt at pronouncing Rixki Icarus, Batuta Kartis, and Aipa Yashash. Next week, it's probably the defining episode of Season 1, despite its silly name. Prepare yourself for Pimento.
Did you get what I asked you for? The code provisions.
Shit. Fuck this fucking button.
That's all right. You're doing fine. I forget all the time. I do.